Hi, I'm Jim Kleinpeter, LSU beat writer for NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. I'm with columnist Ron Higgins, and we saw history made here tonight at Tiger Stadium. Mississippi State came in here and really punched LSU in the face for 3 quarters, built up a 34-10 lead, just really dominated the game, dominated both lines of scrimmage. Finally broke a 14-game losing streak to LSU. LSU had won 21 of the previous 22 games between the two schools. State had not won here since 1991 when Curly Hallman was the coach. This was a really good State team, well prepared. They did everything they needed to do, and Dak Prescott was just fabulous tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny. LSU, the last 2 years, stopped a Heisman Trophy guy, Johnny Manziel. They had a plan. And this guy, Dak Prescott, just destroyed them in every possible way from the word go. First of all, his blocking was superb. Secondly, he made great reads off the read option. I can't ever really remember making really a bad read. The only really bad thing I think he did the whole game maybe was he fumbled to start the second half. LSU scored, and he almost had a pass intercepted where he got rushed and he threw it away. But every time State could have folded tonight, they didn't. It was after Prescott had a fumble, they responded. He had a 50-something yard touchdown run. Later on, he almost gets sacked. Rolls out, hits a 70-yard touchdown pass. They responded every time LSU, was about to come when the crowd was about to get into it. They shut the door.
That's right. LSU gave up a lot of big. They came in here with this great defense, 3 good games of defense, but gave up plays of 74, 56, 66, 44, 26, 23. Just a ton of big plays, and they put themselves in such a big hole that all the things that happened at the end when Brandon Harris came in the game, there was in such a big hole they could never catch up. And that brings us to the quarterback position at LSU. Now we've got probably a quarterback, maybe not a controversy yet, but everyone's going to be calling for Brandon Harris to start next week against New Mexico State with Auburn 2 weeks later, a week later. So, what does LSU do? I mean, Jennings is obviously maybe the more poised of the two. Brandon Harris sure looked good coming in off the bench. But if you'll remember, so did Jennings last year against Arkansas. He looked good coming off the bench, and then when he had to get ready for a game, it wasn't the same thing. So this is something LSU coach Les Miles talked about. They've got to give it a lot of thought. They've got to go to the overview before they start tinkering too much with this position.
And it's a little bit different when you have the whole package thrown at you and not just things you can do. That said, this is an ideal week coming up to, if you want to start Brandon Harris, this would be the week to do it. It's New Mexico State, and no disrespect to them. They're playing better this year, but the last few years, they've given up more than 50 points just a ton of times. And if you're going to try it, you try it this week. Everybody always thinks the backup quarterback is better anyway, no matter regardless. It's the way the nature of football. That said, though, there seems to be a spark when he comes in games, and this team is a team right now that needs a spark. It needs something to get its offense going. Whether he's a pass-run threat, not as physical as Dak Prescott. He probably weighs about 40, 50 pounds less, but he has that aura about him. Like I'm gonna get a play done. I'm gonna make a play, and his teammates seem to pick up on that. And for a team it's really one-dimensional right now with running, they really need somebody like that.
And even he, as good as he is, he's probably the better of the two quarterbacks in ability, but they got to get better play out of their offensive line and no drops from the wide receivers and better running by running backs. Well, anyway, that's all for tonight. It was a big night for Mississippi State, not so much for LSU. They got to go back to the drawing board, and we'll be there with you. Just follow us on NOLA.com. For Ron Higgins, I'm Jim Kleinpeter, and we'll see you on NOLA.com.